Go. It's your turn.
Hello! Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Lazy Monday podcast.
I wasn't designed.
I am Nate Hales. With me, as always, is Zane. Well, not always.
Yes.
You weren't here last time.
I wasn't here last time. I was in New York.
He was fighting the dragon Smaug.
Smaug.
And to his right, we have Sage, the Rage,
I've pretty much given
Greenewalt,
on being the host of this podcast. It just doesn't happen.
It's gone.
your host.
I'm just going to watch YouTube videos over here.
And, as always, the bitchiest one when he doesn't get his way. Sage, take over. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm feeling rather shitty.
Yeah, it's a weird Sunday.
I feel good.
I'm getting over a
No one
sinus
likes you.
infection. My head is kind of spinning still, but we're gonna power through this.
For you, for the audience, we're gonna make it.
Audience.
It's a fancy podcast today because I have my fancy McDonald's caramel mocha. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway.
Not
That'd
the
be
usual,
a weird fetish.
Not
Like
the
caramel
usual
and-
normal coffee. Caramel mocha. So that's what I'm sporting today.
I'm wearing a shirt. That's what I'm sporting.
And I'm not.
Oh!
Little plug for the video podcast.
Wow, actually, you're wearing a shirt.
If you want to see my white goodness,
Wait, wasn't there
That's a
a
lie.
I think
Lazy
the
Revolver
second podcast,
YouTube channel.
I think
Look
the
it up.
second podcast you weren't wearing a shirt. It did have video, but I swear you weren't wearing a shirt for some stupid reason.
I didn't have to wear a shirt because it had no video. But it does enrich the audio now. Going back to that podcast and knowing that I'm shirtless just makes my voice sound so much better.
But they also don't know which one you're shirtless in.
Exactly.
I said the second one.
Was it the second one, though? We'll never know.
Could have been all of them. Could be this one right now if you're not watching the video version.
Podcast.
Everyone who watches the video podcast is going to comment about how full of bullshit you are.
A little comment, but that's exactly the point. Is no one will know unless they go to the video one. So like
right
and subscribe, favorite.
Terrible.
All of it.
So right before we continue, quick correction for last podcast about USB-C, Sage.
So it doesn't actually take Thunderbolt. I thought Apple would, actually make some sense and just basically make the Thunderbolt port but with more connections inside, kind of like how they did with DisplayPort. No, that's not true. It does not do that. Unfortunately, it is a completely well, I say unfortunately. Fortunately, if it catches on, it's a completely brand new connector. But I watched a College Humor video on how every single goddamn iteration they changed the port for no goddamn reason. So I'm a little
So
annoyed.
you buy new
And
things.
so you buy more.
Oh, I know. No. It's because it comes in. When you buy it, you get one. You get one immediately. So it's like they're not really buying sales. They're more just pissing you off because if you lose yours,
Well, yeah.
then no one else
Then
can
you
give you
gotta buy it.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one else can give you the charger. Like whenever I lose my phone charger,
Yeah.
I can't. So many people have the 5 and down that I can't use their charger. So I'm like, well, my phone's gonna die. That's how I have to live my life because I'm not buying a $20 phone charger every single time I lose it.
All right, temper your rage.
Oh, second correction for the podcast. I wasn't here, but I listened to it. And both of you.
Hey, maybe you should have been here so you could have corrected us
Oh,
during
no,
it.
but you both said, GTA heists, where did they come from? I didn't hear about this. Who told you? Zane Greenewalt, go 2 podcasts back. What podcast is this? It doesn't matter.
204.
Go 2 podcasts back.
We are not in
You will
200s.
hear me say,
Not yet.
it comes out March 10th. I said that. That was a thing. I said it.
This is
You
the
may say it.
this is the part
but-
where we admit to Zane that his track has been muted for all of the episodes that he's done so far.
You may say it, but you have to say it again because most of the time they're not listening.
March 10th! It came out.
So remember when we did that mic check and you talked at a normal volume?
It's okay.
You're not doing that right now. You're not doing it. It's you're not doing it for me.
You're not neither of you are doing
Live
it for me
mix it.
anymore.
Well, you know what's...
I don't want to be here.
Mix it like a DJ, Sage.
I still haven't played a heist yet. I'm really sad. I've been playing more GTA Online, though, since the announcement.
You gotta level up to 12.
I've been heisting on that Battlefield Hardline.
How is that?
It's all right. It's very Battlefield.
Is there enough of a online presence? Because it seems like there's not a lot of people that bought it.
Yeah, there's enough to play a couple games, but...
It had like a really...
It doesn't have a large enough map for the sniping.
At least from my side, it seemed like it had a very like, oh, now it's out. Like,
yeah.
Like, I didn't see any new launch trailer or like a bunch of people posting Battlefield Hardline or all the, you know, like a lot of times like there'll be launch parties and you'll see a lot of press from those.
A trailer right there.
Oh, dude, trailers.
But well, it's out now already. So I'm saying, I got YouTube pulled up on the computer beside me. We were just watching a video.
That's not YouTube.
We'll get to that later.
Don't lie to them.
It's Pornhub.
It's porn.
It is Pornhub. Sponsored by... No, I'm just kidding.
What exactly
I wish we were sponsored.
is Battlefield Hardline?
I wish we were sponsored by Pornhub.
I wish we were sponsored by anything.
Keeping it classy.
Let's be...
I'm sponsored by my mom.
If we were sponsored by anything, that would be pretty well.
I realized I was holding onto the desk like for dear life for whatever reason. Like I didn't want to rock
You're
back.
scared.
I was just like, I gotta protect my porn over here, so I gotta hold on to it.
What is Battlefield Hardline exactly? Like, is it a full retail game?
Yes, you get a single player and multiplayer. Single player, you're playing as a cop who's basically going around busting a bunch of drug rings and crap. And then multiplayer, you're playing cops and robbers.
Okay. It just doesn't look like it's like a new game, really, to me. It doesn't look like it's Battlefield 4, which I guess that's why they didn't give it the name.
My worry for Battlefield Hardline, and so I'm asking you this because you actually are our Battlefield Hardline correspondent, was the fact that it's one of those games, a lot like Rainbow Six, the new Rainbow Six game that's coming out.
Rainbow Six Siege.
They give you all these options to be super tactical, you know, really work together and everything like that. And then essentially the game just divulges into a bunch of people popping out, firing a couple shots, then popping back into cover. And then popping out again, firing a couple shots, then popping back into cover.
That doesn't happen because you can blow up walls and stuff.
Well, but I'm saying, like, it doesn't... I don't know. Like, I never really saw any, like, tactical way to approach the old Battlefields. Like, it seemed like it was just rush the enemy with whatever. Whoever had a tank wins. Like, that was that was how I kind of found all the other Battlefields. Is there anything like that?
I feel like shooters are so trained to like just play like it's Call of Duty or whatever. So most people just like are running to the front, shooting, not like really trying to be tactical and stuff. Because I know I would, because I'm not smart enough to put battle plans into action.
That's actually interesting because they included 2 new modes. One is Crosshair or Crossfire. Don't quote me on any of this.
Crossfire!
And then the other one is Rescue. And those 2, you have like 1 life and you're supposed to talk to your team to take out the others. That one's supposed to be more tactical.
Supposed to be. That's my thing. It's the whole thing's supposed to be tactical.
Yeah.
I mean, all the trailers and advertisements I've seen have been, you know, move up on Charlie Bravo and do a dodge roll into cover or something like that. And it's like, I know that nobody, nobody on a casual to not even hardcore. Like, even in the hardcore, you don't get that level of tactic. That's like pro gaming. Yeah,
there's a lack of, I guess, fear in these games. Of fear of, like, actually dying.
Oh, it's not much penalty.
Yeah, there's not much penalty. It's like you get hurt, your KDR might go down a little, but you don't really care about it, and then you just keep going.
Because it's a Battlefield game, your KDR is gonna be shit anyway. Kill death ratio, by the way, for those of you who don't know what KDR is.
KDR.
All right.
It sounds like a name.
But I feel like Battlefield Hardline kind of came out in a weird time, too, because it came out around time heists finally got introduced to GTA.
Yeah.
And it seems like those 2 were kind of targeting the same need in games, you know, very tactical, community-based, heist-type gameplay.
Yeah.
And it seems like they kind of. It seems like more people probably went with GTA when the heist came out because everyone already had it.
Yeah.
More so than Battlefield Hardline.
Save the buck.
It was that, and most people are saving up for that Bloodborne that's about to come out.
Bloodborne does look pretty cool.
I don't get it.
Hey,
You don't
dude.
get it out
I
of all
don't-
people?
Oh,
Didn't you play the Dark Souls?
Yes, I played Dark Souls, and I played. I like those types of games, but my thing is that it doesn't look like one of those games. At least to me, it looks more like a weird hybrid of that and God of War. Like
I don't think so.
If you try to do God of War stuff in that game, I'm pretty sure you're gonna
it
get
feels very
proper rate.
mashy to me, at least from what I've seen. I haven't seen much, so that might be also my problem.
All
but
right.
No, I don't think it's too mashy. From what I've seen, it looks like
it's all speculation.
Well, don't worry, Sage. We're all gonna get it, and then we're gonna hand you a rape whistle. We're gonna allow you to run off into battle.
why?
No, I get it. Don't question it. Just let him have.
Oh, I get it.
Let him have his moment.
I needed a second. The quietness. It's good for the podcast.
Yeah, silence
Perfect.
is always the best thing for a podcast. I don't know. I'm interested in it, but it's one of those things where I don't really. It must have a very good PR team because it seems like it's an odd game to be excited about. Out of all the games that are coming out, it just seems like an odd game for me to really get behind as of right now.
I think the reason people would be excited about it is because it's an actual release. I mean, what else is there?
What
for
do you
a
mean?
while?
Oh,
Then the news is slow.
I guess. I don't really know
Yeah.
if I'm down for the let's be excited about a video game just because there's a video game.
It also does look like it is a Dark Souls. So the fandom of that series is like,
Well,
we
Lords
got
of the
something
Fallen
to
was
tide us
coming out
over.
or came out, and that one was very based on Dark Souls 2, and you
Yeah.
didn't really see much from that thing.
I'll be honest. The best thing that came out so far was Final Fantasy 15's demo.
Dark Souls 2 also came out, and it kind of had a kind of release.
Actually, on that, I heard you two got to play the Final Fantasy 15 demo. I did not.
Tangent.
How'd it go?
The game was amazing. Sage cheated and used my save data.
So I didn't know I did. I just hit new game and went with it, and I guess the demo, at least
It
what
had
you were
like
telling
a
me,
glitch or something.
was kept all of your experience points and leveling, but just started me at the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
So
Did you like the characters, the boy band?
Yes-ish. I did get a slight...
I feel like that's a big part of the story
before
because
Slight-
we
it's like a
continue,
band of brothers.
Slight
favorite
vibe.
Final Fantasy, which one? How many have you played? And
Final
what's your
Fantasy
favorite one?
10. I've
10?
played 10 and 10-2, a bit of 7, and a bit of 12.
All right. What about you? Favorite Final Fantasy out of all of them?
Favorite? Final Fantasy
Guys are behind
7 or 10.
7 or 10?
It's a hard decision.
Choose.
I guess I'd go
You
with
literally
7.
picked the two most loved Final Fantasies.
Yeah, that's why I picked them. Probably just go with 7,
7.
just because it's the most.
I agree with you. 7. 10 is a close second, only because they're the ones that had a story that really gripped me. I played a little bit of 8, and it
8's kind of fun. Squall.
it's interesting. I feel like it dumped me in a bad place in the story personally. And then I played 13. I played 13, and we all know how 13 turned out. I'm worried a little bit because they have great marketing. They have
Yes.
great marketing that makes me think it's going to be a 7-10 kind of emotional story, and the gameplay is going to be really good. My worry, especially because it's a new system, my worry is the fact that when the intro credits, and this is a spoiler for anyone who hasn't played it yet or watched our video, which this will probably be out before that video, all the characters are wearing black, and they all have like a very similar demeanor to them, which is that emo-esque feeling that Final Fantasy started kind of going into. Like,
okay.
like Final Fantasy kind of had that, but it's like with 7, a good example, Cloud,
Super emo.
but not in 7. He became emo. For some reason, he started getting portrayed more and more like he was this emo guy, but He really wasn't in 7. He didn't, at least the way he was portrayed to me. But of course, it was all text based, so it was it's kind of hard to really portray. But it didn't he didn't really seem like he was emo. He became that. A lot of the characters became very emotional, like this drama-y kind of characters. Like all of them kind of turned into that. And I'm worried just based on their looks and the little bit of dialogue you actually got in the game. I'm worried it's going to be like another 13, you know? I really am worried. I really want it to be good.
Yeah.
I really want it to be good.
Off of the demo, I'm going to get the game.
Convince you.
So,
Wait, we were going to get the game without the demo, though, so...
Yeah, I was pretty much going to get the game without the demo.
Worthy?
But, based on the demo, I just loved every minute of it, and I played it so much more than I played any of the other games I actually bought and have, like, the full thing of.
Mm.
And on the demo, there are things they have to fix, like the frame rate and
just technical stuff they have to fix?
Yeah, there's some technical stuff they have to fix.
But
Well,
just technical.
But they've also got like a year to fix it.
Yeah, well, we don't know when it's going to release. It
But
could release,
estimated, like a good estimate is they're going to release in a year, right?
That's a long time for a demo. You would
But
think
they're
you would
in
think
a
if
pretty
they're
far they're in a pretty far place back because they're juggling a lot of balls right now. Square Enix is because they got Kingdom Hearts in the works.
Oh yeah, they
They've
have
got-
Life is Strange
They
too.
have Life is Strange. They got.
Did you guys
Final
play
Fantasy
that?
15.
But they're a big company. They have multiple divisions. I mean, it's not like they all work on one at a time.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
I
It's
don't.
like people that say Ubisoft, they should all work on one Assassin's Creed game.
I think it's got a year. That's my personal opinion. 1 year.
Well, I mean,
Two.
Two?
Anyways,
I think it's less than both of you because I think if you are at the point where you're putting out a demo, you are pretty damn close to finished. Because people don't put out broken demos. I mean, they
wait. So how soon do you think it's going to come?
I would say by the end of this year.
Okay.
There
are bets.
I just think it's one of those things where it's like if they had put it as this is an alpha or this is a beta, I could kind of see it being in a year or something like that. But they didn't. They put it out as a demo, and demos, to me at least, have hold different weight than betas and alphas.
When does the next Halo come out? Do you know that at all?
Five Guardians.
Oh,
Halo
I'm
5
gonna
Guardians.
eject from the podcast really fast because I'm gonna bring up some cool news that happened this weekend with Halo 5. So I'll be right back.
Tangent section.
Funny thing is in the video, I'm just turning around. I'm turning my back on both of you.
He said he was going to look that up, but we know that you're just looking up. Well, you're trying to search for that Iggy Azalea booty still.
I knew you
I
were
gave
going to
up.
say it.
I gave up. I couldn't find it. I tried.
You have to
it
give
didn't
up.
work.
It goes too far.
Never give up.
I read a story about that apparently her team said it may be her, but if it is, she could have been under 18. Like I read that on like a TMZ site or something.
Did they think that saying that was going to deter people?
No. But get it taken off, I guess, is the thing. Because if it's illegal.
So, getting away from Iggy Azalea. So this last weekend, and they just watched it off screen here. A trailer, not even trailer, a teaser
What is that?
was
I don't know.
released. A teaser was released. The only thing you had, it was a countdown on a Tumblr page for Halo 5. And when and all it was a bullet that said traitor on it. And the
it shot
countdown.
it, and it shot it.
No, it was just a bullet. When the countdown hit, a video popped up. And the video was essentially the bullet being shot from a Halo sniper rifle into the mask of Master Chief. Which is, a lot of people think this is a hint that Master Chief is actually on the run, and that what's his name, John Locke or something like that, the new Spartan for
Oh,
5.
whatever his name is.
He's hunting Master Chief, and because he's essentially gone AWOL. That's the idea. Is that this is what the next story is going to be? Is essentially Master Chief running from essentially other Spartans.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, right?
That's pretty cool.
But of course, this is a lot of like speculation off of a bullet flying into the face of Master Chief that says traitor.
Helmet.
Yeah, the helmet. The face of Master Chief. There's no other face to Master Chief yet.
Yeah, there is. Didn't they show his eyes?
Just his eyes. That's not a face.
That's all you need.
Eyes and face are a different thing.
There's pictures of him as a kid. From
They
the
could have. Yeah,
comics and stuff.
They could have put a baby's face right there.
It's true.
He could have never aged. He's still just a little boy. He's just like,
That would be
"Aw."
really weird.
That'd be
What's-
awesome.
No reason he
That's what
doesn't.
steroids do to you.
Steroids, man.
No reason he doesn't take off that helmet.
You gotta keep it covered. Butterface.
He's very self-conscious.
But his face.
But yeah, super excited about that.
Interesting.
I definitely think it's a good teaser.
Sure.
That's cool. I didn't know it was a thing.
It's enough to speculate, but not enough to know. I like that.
Nah, I think it's
That's
pretty.
good marketing.
I don't know. I feel
Cool.
like it's pretty on the nose.
Really?
I don't know.
The word traitor shooting at Master Chief seems. I mean, it's still open.
They could be really
but
artsy about it, though.
That's
know?
on the nose.
I don't know. It
I
feels
would've-
on the nose to me because I feel like what you just said. That's what it has to be.
And it's not as bad as that Project Spark trailer.
Well, that you're just
What is
you just
this, a
didn't like
game?
the dialogue.
The dialogue was so on the nose. Was this a game? Project Spark.
Wait, what is this?
That sounds like a working
Project
title.
Spark or the commercial?
The commercial, of course.
Well, the commercial is essentially was another Conquer commercial, where Conquer walks around and talks about how he's in Project Spark and
Yeah.
advertising for Project Spark and all these things. And the end of the commercial basically said that they're releasing a new Conquer game, or at least an episodic Conquer
yeah,
game.
like one of the Project Spark
Yeah.
team-made games.
But because Project Spark is a game where you can create games in it, you get like the assets and the engine and all that, and get
Yeah.
to play and get to basically use the game. And then after you play the pre-made game, you can make a new game out of it.
Yeah.
So you can make your own Conquer,
Essentially,
essentially.
Yeah. But
Do you think that's cool?
not off that trailer.
Nate
Not
really
off the
didn't like
trailer.
it. Nate's all vinegar about it.
I mean, it wasn't. It was kind of weird. It was kind of a weird trailer, but I just think there needs to be a new Conquer.
Well-
like actually,
Well, here's the reason why
if
it's
Rare
so
came back,
it's so on the nose, because they don't really. I mean, they're telling they're trying to advertise another game with another game. I mean, they're trying. Conquer has truthfully really not much to do with Project Spark. I mean, maybe they use the same engine. I don't really know. Maybe it's the same. I guess it's the same company that owns it. But
Rare.
I'm
I
like,
don't know if it is.
but I'm kind of like, there is no reason to put Conquer in Project Spark other than
Okay.
the fact that people do know Conquer.
Yeah.
And not Conquer's Bad Fur Day is a great game. It's really funny. I think
Yeah.
I at least personally find it really funny, with a lot of like adult humor and kid form.
Okay.
But it's like, that's why it's so on the nose, I think, is just because they're just waving Conquer in front of the screen and going, look, buy our game. Look, Conquer, buy our game. It's not really like, they're not really trying to integrate the two very well. They're just trying to use. Oh, there's
Yeah,
a
it's
name
just
for
supposed
it.
to be
There's
a-
a name
Yeah.
for that type of advertising. Sponsor or something like that. I forget. It's
Whatever
where
it
It's
is.
where you use a random star, some with star power, to get people to buy it. It's whatever.
But no. Not gonna buy it.
No.
Anyways.
Well, you won't probably ever.
I
because
feel
it's
like-
Xbox,
Yeah.
Okay, I feel
And
like
Windows.
that.
Project Spark.
What?
Project
Win-
Spark is.
Windows 8,
Oh.
and Windows 8
Or
and,
10.
Well, they might be making it. Maybe that's why they re-released the trailer.
Mm.
It's now it's coming out on Windows 10, but Windows 8 and Xbox.
I still
Microsoft.
need to update to Windows 9.
That's never gonna happen.
I know. Anyways,
That's old news.
but the Conquer brand, I feel like it's in that weird place that Oddworld was with Abe's Odyssey. Where it
no,
was
you're
like,
wrong. You're wrong.
Where it was like people were all
You don't
awesome,
know.
it's coming back,
You're wrong.
and then everyone else is like, who the is this?
A lot of people know Conquer. Just because you don't doesn't mean people don't know Conquer. Conquer is way
Possibly.
way more popular than you think. Oddworld, maybe more popular than I think it is, but it's pretty it's pretty out there. Conker's not. Conker.
Okay.
People still do Let's Plays in Conker's Bad Fur Day.
The big guy himself, PewDiePie, did a Let's Play.
The big guy himself.
The big guy.
He's the big guy.
#1 subscribed. Of course he's the big guy.
I don't think he's the #1 subscribed anymore.
Is he not? I don't know. I haven't checked the boards in a while.
I think he's
Competition.
I think he's #1 in video game channels.
Well,
Let's Plays?
definitely.
Probably.
Definitely Let's Plays.
definitely.
At
Well,
the very least.
you can't count like Vivo and things like that. Like when you that's almost saying like, oh well, our
I just
viewership
mean
isn't the same as
YouTube
music.
subscription in general.
Right. I'm saying that that the #1s are most likely music channels because because people just put music on YouTube and just listen to it on repeat.
No, right now it's still PewDiePie.
Okay.
And #2 is YouTube.
YouTube Inc.
It-
Hey,
but it,
PewDiePie is beating YouTube.
but isn't PewDiePie and YouTube both auto subs? When you create an account, it like tells you subscribe to this person. Like it seems like it's at a certain point you're like,
Well, they advertise it, but you have to click subscribe.
yeah, but you have to click a certain amount. It's kind of like Twitter where you have to follow a certain amount to get past that screen. You can't say, oh no, none of them.
Smosh, the previous first
That I
place,
remember.
is now all the way to 4th.
Okay.
I do know a lot of people did Conquer. In fact, it kind of
Rihanna's at 5.
circled
Rihanna Vivo at 5.
it kind of circled a little bit at at a time where it was like everyone was doing Conquer Let's Plays. Like one person did it and then everyone started doing it, and it's died back off again. So
But is
once again,
for
just
you
because it's
is
not your
Conquered
thing,
is for
doesn't
you
mean
is
it's not a
like
thing.
Conquered as big as like Spyro or Crash Bandicoot?
no,
or...
because it's not a franchise. They made one
I
game.
thought-
No, that's
Oh,
not true.
I thought they made one game.
They made another game
only
on,
know one
on
game.
Corrections.
the original Xbox. The thing is, it's not to the level of Spyro and what did you just say?
Crash Bandicoot,
Crash
Ratchet
Bandicoot.
and
Yeah,
Clank.
it's not on that level because it was it was released as like very adult humor in this time of where gaming was.
So it was more of
kids.
like a cult classic kind of
Yeah,
game?
it's a cult classic is what I would call it.
Okay. So I still stand by my statement anyways.
No, your statement's wrong. You're saying just because it's not popular to you, it's
Yes.
not popular, which is not true.
Well, I think the thing is, he is right
wanna
on
fight?
the comparison to Oddworld, because Oh no, wait, you're wrong. Never mind. I'm on stage.
Yeah.
I was saying that they're on the
Oddworld.
same level.
I don't
was
think
about to say,
they're.
it's like, I
They're
think
both,
they're different
for me,
levels.
they're both cult classics. Where there was a
Oddworld's
group of people that liked them,
There's a
Oddworld's
difference
much
but
smaller.
not the
There's a
mass
difference
market
between-
likes them.
There's a difference between cult classic and niche, and I feel like Oddworld is more niche than Conquer that is cult classic. Cult classic has a much bigger following. If you go to a screening of Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Yeah,
if you go to one screening of those, look around and you will see a packed theater.
it's a cult classic.
But a cult classic can have a huge following.
Yeah, what?
So we're basically trying to say that cult classic basically means it doesn't have a huge following. That's not true. It may not have as big a following as mainstream, but it still can have a huge following.
Okay,
Niche only really applies to a specific group, and that's when you can say it's a very small targeted demographic.
Okay, well then I guess I see where you're coming from, but that's where I'm putting both of them is
I'm telling
they're
you,
not
you can't do that.
they're not mainstream, but they found their niche or their
You as
They're
as a
large group.
as a
following.
game journalist integrity.
I'm not a
You
games
can't say-
journalist.
You cannot say that because I don't like it, it's not mainstream.
I'm not
that it-
saying
not
that.
that I'm
I'm
saying
just
it
saying
is.
that it just isn't mainstream.
Post in the comments below if you agree with me or Nate.
Or Zane.
That probably just agree with Zane. Just stick to the neutral ground.
he's like Sweden or
I
Norway.
want to see all the comments that say we
Just
don't
stick
understand the
around.
argument. We're just really confused.
Yeah, what you guys were talking about Halo 5, then you got on Conquer. What? You guys need to stick to
Wait,
a subject.
Halo
you're the one who
5
switched
and-
to Conquer.
Conquer in
It's
Halo
because
5.
I don't know much about
Oh my
Halo.
God.
Conquer is hunting Master Chief.
Oh my god.
Oh, did the chair
Make
break?
the game.
The chair's fine. Don't worry.
Hey,
only,
what's-
only the best quality.
Could you get Project Spark and then put Master Chief in there to hunt down Conquer?
I mean, the idea of Spark is to make
don't think
whatever.
so.
Because Conker's
No, I
a
don't-
traitor.
But I don't
who-
think you could do that yet.
been
I think you'd have to
able.
Well, you know,
mod.
Yeah, you. Well, I'm saying like you can make
Mod
like
the
a
world.
Halo-esque game in it.
I don't know. It's very. I think it's kind of restricting. Like it gives you tools, but it doesn't really let you. I don't
Like
think there's a
RPG
character
Maker?
creation or anything.
Like-
No, there totally is. There totally is. You weren't there. I went to the booth.
Wait, they
Project
allow you
Sparks.
to do asset creation in
Yeah,
there?
and they
That's
actually
a
even
lot.
even
Okay.
allow you to put in your own animation.
That's
If you
interesting.
have a Connect, you can actually do mocap and put it into the
Oh.
game. It's
Very
really
interesting.
cool. I actually talked to a guy who was saying like he said get the Xbox One version because there's a
Yeah.
lot more tools supposedly in it, which I think is weird.
Yeah, why would the console version have more tools?
Well, the mocap, the Connect capabilities.
But wouldn't it be easier to put all those features on a PC and even more features?
I didn't make the game, dude. I'm just saying what the. I went to the Project Spark booth at Comic-Con last year, 2 years ago, no, last year, and I was like, pitch me Project Spark, sell it to me. I just was curious, like, cause I'd seen a little bit about the game, but he like sat down and he was like, here's something that somebody made 5 seconds ago, and I started playing and I was like, oh, this is. I mean, it was broken and, had no real story to it, but I was like, but I could see where they were going with it, You get to a castle and you meet a boss and then it says next time on episode 2 kind of thing. And it's all project made. Do I think those games are good? Not really. It's kind of why I did play a lot of Little Big Planet. Like, I'm one of those people that I want my game crafted by people who are professionals in this industry and have studied game creation. I
Big
feel like
Planet was awesome.
it was awesome.
Take
I'm not
that
saying,
statement back.
No. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea. I want somebody who is a professional game creator. That's why, like Little Big Planet, the actual games that were already in it, I really like. And there are a couple ones in there that are really cool, like the people that go above and beyond to make games in those game engines and things like that. They're awesome. But it's one of those things where I feel like I have to wait for a really long time to find that golden egg. That I'm kind of like, I'd much rather just have a game that's prepackaged and comes to me done. Rather than being like, here's a bunch of assets, make a game. I feel like that's lazy to me.
Revolver.
To me.
Yeah.
So, I do admit that is my opinion. It is not the opinion of this entire group. I did not have sex with that woman. I am not a crook.
You, as a games journalist, need to retract that.
My integrity.
Your
My
integrity.
games journalism integrity.
I like that you brought that up, and I'm not a games journalist.
Technically, though, the fact that you do a gaming news podcast. I mean, I guess we're not a gaming news podcast. We are in hobbies, though. We are in hobbies and gaming.
Where's my money? I'm a journalist. Pay me for this.
You're an owner. Fucking when
What?
the company starves, you
News
starve.
to me? Oh, well, then you're fired.
You got to buy me out, bitch.
You said I'm an owner. You say you were an owner.
You're an owner. I'm a creator. Ooh.
What am I?
You're an employee.
Oh,
That's not true. None of this is true.
let's go back to work.
Laser Revolver isn't a thing.
Doesn't exist.
You're actually listening to nothing right now. You're just imagining our voices.
Listen to the voices.
So, does anyone care about Mortal Kombat 10?
I mean, I like fighting games.
I don't like fighting games.
Well, there's that.
Sage.
So my thing with
Neutral
fighting
ground,
games,
go.
My thing with fighting games is they're really great party games. I kind of missed out on the Mortal Kombat thing only because my parents were kind of one of those people that really believed that violent video games were, like they really stuck to the ESRB rating.
Yeah.
T, I had to be teenage to play them. E, which there was a lot more games then. Like nowadays, if you said you can only play E games, you would have a selection of 4 games on the shelf. Like
Seriously.
but it's like that was one of those games that was the ultra violent, really graphic games. I missed out on that, and going back to it, it's now high res, ultra violent, kind of horrifying games, and it's one of those ones where it's like Super Smash Bros. Is a great fighting game because it's very cartoony. You can kind of have fun with a large amount of people and things like that. You don't really, there's not really this weird like kind of grotesqueness to it, and I feel like that's what I get with Mortal Kombat. Like,
Really?
yeah, you sit around with friends and you're like, let's play Mortal Kombat. Oh, you every once in a while you kind of get that, oh, I ripped your spine out, that's so cool, and all these things, and oh, look at the graphics. Then after a while, at least for me, I just go, all right,
Well, that's interesting.
I'm breaking your bones, and I'm getting like the zoom in, extreme close up of the bones breaking, and it's just a little
it
much.
must be so gross that it's fun.
That's very
much
interesting because I know you to be a homicidal maniac as soon as you get behind
Once
the
again,
controls of Grand Theft Auto.
The difference between those, shut up, Savannah. The difference between those though is ragdoll. You don't ragdoll in Mortal Kombat. You don't you don't punch them and then they go.
For the audio.
You want to describe that for the audio?
Yeah, Sage
No,
just...
you have to watch the video podcast.
Yeah, go to the video podcast.
But instead you get like this really close up. Like you don't go into Grand Theft Auto and start ripping people's skulls out and still having the spine and drinking the fluids. Like you don't do that. Like that's when you start going into like the grotesque area, in my opinion, for video games. You know, I mean, it's like
Okay.
at a certain point, me personally, I don't believe in video game censorship. So I'm not saying that should not come out, but it's not my thing. I
Okay.
feel like it's one of those things where it's not a fighting game. I would be like, let's pull this out and let's play it. I'd be more like, let's play like Capcom versus Marvel or Super Smash Bros. Or one of those fighting games, much more than Mortal Kombat.
I personally like Tekken more than Mortal Kombat.
Tekken, there's another one, but I mean, and that one once again, there's not like that crazy grotesque amount of violence in Tekken. You still get the very ultra high realism and everything like that, but you don't get people like splitting each other in half or running them through just those.
Hey, it's the original game that invented the M rating.
I feel so like such an old man right now talking about this. These video games are being too violent, and we need to calm it down before our children become atheists.
Actually, did you guys ever play
Atheism.
that really old Alien
my mic.
versus Predator game that they had on
Fighting
PC?
game?
Tangent. But it was
it a
like
fighting
it was
game?
like
I played a lot of
it was
AVP
like an
games.
adventure game where you got to choose if you're a predator, a human, or a alien.
Are
And
you
the
talking about the
predators, you could
RTS?
like skin people and stuff.
Are you talking about the RTS? Because I played an RTS that was an
They
AVP
had an
RTS.
RTS,
I played that
but
one.
before then they had a PC game that you could basically do the same thing. So we're gonna have to look it up and post
Yeah.
it. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
that game was grotesque.
Yes. I played my first M-rated game I ever played was Predator Concrete Jungle.
And I always watched him play it, and I would get shooed out of the room by my mother.
Another very grotesque game. One of those ones where you're like, you cut the people's heads off and like keep it as a which is what Predator did.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is my father was like, you can't play M-rated video games. I wasn't allowed Halo. Like that was the big one was for me. I really wanted to play Halo, and I wasn't allowed because it was M-rated. But then he would be like, you can't play M-rated games. But here, let's watch Alien and Predator together, where people get murdered horribly and curse every single second in that movie.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
it's like, give some, you lose some.
Hey, there has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance. Take it away
Always.
from the games. But the nice thing about me not being able to play like M-rated games is I played a lot of Sonic.
Sonic Heroes.
Did you
It's
guys?
not a good game.
Yeah, it was okay.
Stop making it.
I
Sonic.
thought it was fine.
Sonic fell off.
We talked about this. Sonic has fallen off, and I won't argue that Sonic hasn't fallen off. But
They
I
should
will
probably put it to
argue
bed.
that there are some 3D Sonics that I do like. Sonic Adventure 1 and I think 2. I'd have to go back and play 2 again. And I thought I had fun with Sonic Heroes. I know none of them necessarily are great games, but it's not if they're good, it's if they're fun. And I had fun with all 3 of those.
He's not an official sponsor or representative of Lazy Revolver, so
You as
do
a
not
game
attack us.
journalist need to take back your opinion.
Okay.
Original Sonic is the best, and I know that. But I'm saying those three 3D Sonics I just listed
I don't know.
are fine.
That was one of those games where it was extremely hard, and I never got into them. Like Metal Slug or something. I just never could get into those ones. Mostly because I
I don't know.
sucked at them.
I didn't think the difficulty for Sonic was that bad.
Difficulty for the first Sonic is pretty bad.
I just think it's one of those things where there are a lot of games that make a very difficult leap from 2D to 3D, and sometimes like a lot of the games that are coming out now are remasters rather than remakes, And and it's you get them exactly the same mechanics, exactly the same way that you know and love them, just with better graphics. And I personally feel like that's the faithful way of doing it, because I think Sonic is a good example of you went from a 2D almost kind of platformer type game, where you everything worked, everything was together, to then they went to the 3D thing. And it's the same thing with when movies went 3D and you had those random shots of something going into the camera kind of thing. They took them into 3D, and then suddenly now Sonic, you're doing these 360 pans around them to see the entire set and all these things that I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, I'm running into a fence. Like the whole, and you were playing a game earlier. The whole
Sonic Generations is what kind of brought this up.
The running the camera angle from behind him, where you're running in a straight line on a track, you get two buttons. You get the LR and R and.
No, you can use the analog, but there was an option to dash to either side.
To dash one side or the other, and I just go. I watched you play that game for a little bit, and I looked at it and I was like, I bet you I could beat this whole game by just pressing forward and the X button a couple times. Like, it did not seem like it was a game where
there's skill to
everything seemed very, like, it went one into the other, into the other, into the other, almost like it was more like a quick time event rather than an actual game you're playing. Rather than you're like, how am I going to do this, or what path am I going to take? You're just kind of going. And that's why I think Sonic made that hard transition, where it was transitioning into 3D when 3D was new, so they were trying to do their best to show off all the 3D, rather than just being like, it's 3D textures, but the exact same gameplay you know and love. And that's why the game that you're playing, it kind of contrasts the two. You can play the old Sonic with 3D textures, and then the new Sonic, well, obviously with 3D textures, but the new Sonic with all the new mechanics and everything. And I just watch you play for a little bit, and it's like the 2D Sonic just seemed like it flowed so much better, whereas the 3D, you got into the 3D and you ran off the edge a couple times, because when your camera angle is directly behind your character, you can't see really well what's coming up in front of you, and then the fact that your axis is all wonky, so you're just you like ran off the edge.
Depth of field issues.
It just seems like it's one of those things where they did it for no really good reason. They made it a 3D game just for the sake of it being 3D, not because it actually worked with Sonic and his gameplay. To me, that's why I fell off of Sonic, because I love Sonic.
I think that
was a good 15-minute tangent.
I don't know. I like.
We just let you go.
We'll just cut it out.
I already did. I
Good.
put the video of Sonic right there.
If only you edited this.
If I edited this, I'd put so it would take longer.
Oh,
shut up, Sage.
Oh yeah,
it would take longer, but you guys would have some awesome videos to look at.
And we'd get flagged for copyright immediately.
Hey, we're journalists.
Apparently not. Go ahead, Nate. Go ahead.
What? I'm not Nate.
Maybe you shouldn't be the host. You don't even know their names.
I'm actually drunk right now.
Yeah,
So-
I'm
That's what was
actually drunk right now.
Hey, you
What
better
were you
be
saying,
careful. We're sponsored by McDonald's.
Cut
You
him
can't
off.
say that stuff.
What was I
Sponsored
saying?
by McDonald's.
I don't think I've had a single thought that hasn't transitioned into something crazier.
Okay, boom. Dying Light sales.
I mean,
Do you guys
yeah.
think that we're gonna get a sequel?
Yes. Oh yeah.
I really like the game.
I didn't
Sage
finish
never
it, though.
finished.
Yeah, I didn't finish it.
Was it open to a sequel
Yeah.
with the original storyline, or do you think they would just go
With
boom,
the
new
original
storyline?
storyline, yes. But the story wasn't all that original, so I want to see them
Try a new one.
something better.
It was great. It was really
Come out
good
with something
mechanics,
cooler.
though. So I mean,
The mechanics were amazing.
That's kind of what sold the game, was the
Yeah.
fact that it was
Very polished parkour in there.
it was what I wanted from Dead Island. I mean, it's the same people, so
Yeah.
they definitely polished what they knew, and I think made it a really good game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm almost certain they're gonna make a sequel to it. I feel like it had a much bigger success than I think they were planning,
Yeah.
and that leads to the future of its game.
And
It'll be a while, though.
The reason we're talking about a possible sequel, you said it, but the actual number is this is one of the best selling Techland games, and it reached $3.2 million dollars in sales.
Is it dollars?
You doing that off of memory?
3.2
or is it copies?
million. Gosh dang it.
So we know which one he's doing it off of.
Copies? Yeah. Dying Light sales reached 3.2 million. So copies, I guess.
Yes.
Really, really doing the research on
Perfect.
this podcast.
We're not.
Look, it's good. It's right there.
I'm gonna
It's on this
prepare the
screen.
next podcast for our ridiculously long section of corrections. It's gonna probably take an hour.
So none of us are really Nintendo fans, so this topic might be very short. But
I'm a Nintendo.
Nintendo is abandoning the Wii U. I'm joking.
not technically.
Not technically, but they did announce a new-ish.
Hinted.
Yeah, hinted at a new
announced.
console entitled NX or
NX.
Next.
Well, I don't know if it's titled that or if that's just the code name.
Yeah.
I think it's just the code name right now.
Okay.
It's like Project NX kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the console version. And then the other big thing is they're going with a mobile type platform for new games. They were very specific about that. They said it's for new games. You will not be seeing ports
Yeah.
of old
did they
games
say
to
that?
mobile.
I thought it
Yes.
said that they were handing over the IPs.
They were handing over the IPs, but it's for new games. Any game that comes out on mobile, supposedly, any game that comes out on mobile with their IP will be a game specifically made for mobile.
Yeah.
It will not be like they're going to take their old games and throw them onto mobile.
Yeah. I feel like they're a little bit late to this, like they've been with everything.
I also think they should give ports.
Their Mario stuff and everything would be amazing for mobile.
Almost all of their catalog in
Yeah.
the past would be a really great push to mobile.
Yeah, just because they seem to have that like instant buy feel with some people. Just because it's like Mario's here, boom, I need it.
Well, and the one thing that, I mean, you say they're kind of late to, but one thing that was some speculation is the fact that they're actually they purposely waited because the whole selling point of mobile is microtransactions.
Yeah.
And right now, a lot of last year, you saw a lot of microtransactions that were being handled badly or poorly.
Yeah.
And you kind of get a feel there where it's like maybe they're going to make it different. And in fact, they have actually done something differently before where I forget what game it's called, but it was a DS game where essentially the DLC or the extra games that were in the game you would buy, but the way you would buy it is through a mini game where you haggled with the store buyer. So the games the extra games in this game would start out at $5. But then through conversation and dialogue options, you could actually get it down to like $1.50 for the DLC. And you actually made the game, the microtransaction, a game in and of itself. That then you were rewarded with a game. And it's like, little things like that they might actually be able to change and make really interesting ideas for microtransactions to make their thing actually stand out, rather than just throwing it on there and being like, oh, buy more lives kind of thing, King.
Damn. Sounds a little bitter.
Candy Crush, bitches.
How much did you spend?
More than I should have.
All his Coke money.
All my Coke money. 1/12 of my Coke money. But yeah, no, they're doing that, and then they're saying all the other stuff so that they're not completely transitioning. All the other stuff is going to be on that console, the NX, like you were saying.
Yeah.
They're only going to essentially put it out for they talked about this and they said more information to come next year. It's like a little early, guys. You could have waited. I don't know why you had to tease us this early.
Yeah.
Little too soon.
Yeah. Well, we had a tease like that with the Xbox One and PS4 when they were doing it, right?
I guess.
It was like a year-ish.
Yeah, I mean, but we saw the actual thing in the year.
Yeah,
They're not saying we're going to see the console or the stuff next year. They're saying they're going to talk about it more next year. It's like, woo. I can't wait for that press conference.
They're
Sounded
gonna skip
more like
over
it was
E3.
like, yeah, sounded more like it was a leak or something, and they're all, oh, we didn't mean to talk about that till next year.
But it was in a press conference. So I mean, it wasn't by accident.
Yeah.
But they did say you still have to buy the current consoles to get the current games because they still have games slated for the Wii U. So it's like if you want them, you still gotta get the console. So I don't know why
Yeah.
it seems like that would hurt. Like to talk about this so early would hurt their sales. But
I don't know if their sales have picked up enough for them to.
really care.
Yeah.
Well, their 3DS sales are through the roof. I mean, they're the leading handheld console out of all two of them.
Yeah, Nintendo will always rule handheld because they have that niche down. But mobile's going to become a competitor with handheld,
Essentially,
or is a competitor.
yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, so they should jump into it.
But I would say handheld versus mobile is the idea of casual versus hardcore gaming. I mean, I would say you definitely can play much more long-lasting storylines on a handheld than you can really on. I mean, that really holds your interest on a movie. Sorry, are we boring you, Zane? You yawning?
Just a little.
All right, Zane wants a lightning
I'm
round. Let's
tired.
go.
Oh.
Lightning round starts.
Well,
Wait, there's nothing to lightning round.
there is
yeah.
one thing, and this will be our final topic. What do you guys think
Boom.
of this Pixel movie?
Oh, the Adam Sandler Pixel movie?
Yeah.
Don't forget.
It's kind of bad that we still refer to movies by the stars in them and not the director or the studio behind them.
Just so you know, I didn't. I said, "What do you think of this Pixel movie?" You're the one that said, "Oh, the one by Adam Sandler."
Nate.
Whatever.
So this
You
artificial
monster.
problem is
So-
only you.
So,
in this
Sage,
whole group.
correct me then. Who's making it?
I don't know.
The Pixel.
I don't give a shit. I want to see a good movie. I don't care who's in it. If it's
I-
good, it's good.
I don't know if it's gonna be good. I think it's just gonna be very nostalgia.
Okay.
It's gonna
I
be
think-
like, that's funny. I get that. I don't think it's gonna be good though.
I see that coming from Adam Sandler has been falling off a
Yeah.
lot. And now I'm referring to the quality of a movie by the star in it. But we may be surprised. It might be a success like Wreck-It Ralph was.
Peter Dinklage, badass Peter Dinklage.
That's-
Sold the movie for that one section. Sold the movie for me
Because it had Peter Dinklage.
because
star
of
power.
Peter Dinklage.
I think the trailer also gave away a little
Star
too
power.
much.
Maybe.
I think
I
the
don't know.
trailer showed me more than I wanted to see actually, especially
Like
with
showed you all the VFX shots and everything that's
yeah,
really cool.
but especially the biggest thing was at the end of the trailer, they have creator of Pac-Man go up and talk to Pac-Man, and I'm like,
Was that
I
the
didn't-
actual creator or was that an actor?
I think that was the creator.
I think it's the actual one.
because but
Pac-Man's not that old. I mean, it's old, but it's not that old.
I didn't want to see that. I wanted to be surprised that happened in the movie.
That's true.
That would
but-
have been really funny to just be surprised with, but now I know.
I will disagree, as that was the funniest part of the trailer.
But that's the issue. What if now this movie's I've seen all the funniest parts, especially because I know there's going to be more trailers that come out with more funny parts. That's my issue with trailers these days. You see too much.
But you have to draw them in with your best stuff, right? Put your best foot forward.
Not your best. Your most middle.
Your most middle.
Your most middle.
So your jokes,
Your ad jokes need to make
your
it in.
small chuckles.
Maybe one amazing joke, and that's all you can give me.
But was that their amazing joke?
Could have been.
That could have been. Because I thought it was funny. I laughed. You laughed.
So
I don't laugh.
my only thing
I
that
don't
I
cry.
do think is odd about this
I
game.
don't shit or piss.
Have you? Okay, Kim Jong Un.
Hello, Kim.
My only thing with this is, and I showed this to you guys. You guys might not remember it, but there was this was kind of based off a short film that went up on YouTube a while ago called Pixel, and it was essentially a guy that I don't know if he actually filmed all this stuff. It looked like he took a bunch of stock footage and then put visual effects over all the stock footage, where it's like it's exactly the same thing where he put video game characters breaking buildings and things rolling down the street and breaking and all this really cool visual effects stuff. And I feel like they took that and then they were like, let's make a comedy movie out of it. And I'm kind of, that's where I go, I guess I do get that it would sell best as a comedy movie, but it just seems like the original idea of Pixel
was like
wasn't
it was
really
serious.
marketed as comedy. It was
Yeah,
just,
actually, I didn't expect to see Adam Sandler's face as the trailer started. I was like, "Oh, this looks like it's gonna be cool, like just some funny, cool thing."
I feel bad. I
But
think
then
Adam Sandler can
was
be
in it.
funny.
I was like, "No, I'm not saying he's not funny. I'm saying
I don't know.
I was seeing Adam Sandler was when I was like, "Oh, this is a comedy movie."
For some reason, Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy, and what was the other guy? The Austin Powers dude.
Mike.
really?
Mike
Mike
Myers.
Myers.
I feel like
Mike
they've
Myers
all.
is hilarious.
I feel like they've all fallen off.
He's still hilarious. You're
Like
wrong.
what was the last movie he was in?
I don't know, but he's
Love Guru?
hilarious. I thought Love Guru was funny. I thought it was a little on the nose, but I thought it was funny.
The majority would disagree with you. Anyways, and then Adam Sandler
Majority is not all.
Adam Sandler had what? Jill and
Jack and
Jack
Jill.
and Jill.
Ugh, where he played all the characters. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't really
The
like
two
movies where they
characters.
play all the characters.
Eddie Murphy. What was his last one? Someone's
Another
gonna have
one
to
where he
write it in
probably
the
played all
comments.
the characters as well.
But for some reason, their style just seems to have fallen off of the mass market. For
I
their
definitely
jokes.
don't think it's gonna sell well. I hate to say that just because of the lineup of people they have.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's something I want to see. I like just by the trailer and everything like that. It's enough for me to want to see it.
Is it enough for you to save up money to go see it?
Yes, I would go see that. Yeah, I would go see it. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like I feel like there's so many games. There are so many movies that come out that I feel like they're just trying to be artsy and trying to be this and that, and some of them are. And you should listen to the We Are Entertained podcast for more stuff on that.
Sponsor.
They are not sponsoring us. That is just because they actually have a really good podcast. But they did John Wick last week. It's actually pretty interesting. I really want to see John Wick. But
Oh yeah, I have it on Blu-ray if you want to see it.
oh, I'll borrow it from you. But it's one of those things where it's like this one just seems like it's kind of very simple. It's you sit down. It's the same thing of enjoying a bad game. You sit down, you watch it, you enjoy it, you move on with your life. You don't have this existential crisis at the end of it that they were trying to do that may or may not have worked, or you like sit there thinking throughout the night, what is my life about, and all these things. It's a movie where you sit down, you laugh, like you kind of turn your brain off for it. That's
Okay.
what I'm looking for, and I think that will give it to me.
Well, then you would definitely like Battlefield Hardline. It's not groundbreaking, but it's a game that will work.
You know what I really like?
What?
GTA Heists,
Well, then why don't you play it?
because I don't have friends to play it with.
Oh, well then just play it online. You have matchmaking, right, Sage?
Yeah,
It's not Destiny.
Playing that with randoms though,
It's not
that's-
Destiny though.
I guess.
Well,
Like
Sage
at
will
least
always
you
just
have the
to play
choice
alone.
of being with randoms, because I
have to
haven't
play
even been
alone.
able to play through the raid still. Anyways, we're not talking about Destiny. Let's.
Well,
Zane.
Any last topics? What have you been playing this week?
I've been messing around with PlayStation Now because I found out they give out a free 7-day trial.
Oh.
So I've been playing a lot of games.
You're
this
gonna forget
week.
that.
Only if you have
It's good, Shark,
PlayStation
too.
Plus.
Yeah.
Let's make sure people know.
PlayStation Plus, you get the free trial, and so I've been playing weird games that I would never have thought to play, like Arcana 3, I think is what it was called, and it's some Japanese fighting game I've never heard of. Maybe it's actually really well known, and I just know.
How dare you not know that game?
How dare I?
Your integrity as a video game. No, I'm just kidding.
That's gonna be the quote that everyone remembers you by.
Exactly.
But it's also got some other like well-known stuff like Saints Row, the fourth or four,
and the second.
and the second, and the third.
The fourth is
So
so
Saints
awesome.
Row. It has
The-
Saints Row.
It has
The
Saints
third
Row.
is amazing. The fourth is perfect. The second is
Perfect.
I actually like this.
I didn't play the
Perfect's
first one.
I like
a
the
strong
second.
word, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Your integrity as a
It's
game
a
journalist.
satire game. It's a satire game. I don't know if I could ever say a satire game. Perfect.
That's the kind of comedy that I expected from Conquer when you guys were saying.
Anyway,
GTA 5 is a satire game.
I guess
Is
GTA
it?
5 was always
In
GTA
a,
5 though.
in a subtle way, GTA 5 is a satire game. It's a satire on.
I thought
I get what you're
GTA was more of a serious.
Yeah, it's more serious, but it's like satire because it's like making jokes on our society.
Well, and also the fact that what's
Let's
his
not
name?
get into this.
No, what's his name? Trevor. Trevor is essentially the embodiment of how people play
Video game.
GTA.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
it's like,
not how I play GTA. I set the controller down and leave.
Don't even play it.
what have you been playing, Nate?
I have been playing Final Fantasy 15's demo.
That's it. Have you?
That's
how
an
many times have you
amazing
beat it?
demo.
You got to
many
hook that
times
up
have
with
you
me.
beat
I
it?
got up to level 30, which is why you were able to just like
How many times have you
mindlessly
beaten the
slaughter
game?
things.
Beaten the demo.
Twice.
So you're not playing Type 0 at all because that's what you had to buy to get it. Really? Can I just take it from you then? Because I actually want to play
I played
Type
some
0.
of Type 0, and then I was all cool. I see where this was with the PSP.
But it's a PSP game? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy
it's a
15's
port.
done downloading. I'm playing it, and then I immediately sunk like 2 hours. Got up to level 30.
You're one of those people that would like go into a theater to watch a trailer that only comes out for a certain movie, and after the trailer's done, you'd leave.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I feel bad.
You should
But
feel bad.
I don't, because it was an amazing marketing, like amazing for them to
True.
sell that game was to put it with that demo.
Yeah, they made
Bravo.
so much money
Yeah.
just putting it.
Bravo
Yeah, I agree.
on that.
I agree. It's a good idea.
But that is the only thing that I bought that game for. And then other than that, I've been playing Battlefield Hardline, and I want to play the Order 1886, but I haven't gotten into it because I've still been stuck on that Final Fantasy 15 demo.
How high is the level cap on the demo?
I don't know. I think I can get up to 99.
Jesus.
I'm
You
going to
could
find
essentially
out.
beat the game within the demo.
I'm going to find out.
I've been playing Helldivers. I've had a lot of fun with it. It's kind of one of those games that's like MMO-esque, where it's like everybody collectively is fighting for this thing called Super Earth, and it has like little quips that I really like, little comedy things. I highly recommend it. It's on the March Madness sale right now. It's like $20.
Yeah.
So it's real cheap, and it has really good. I mean, graphically, it's very pretty.
Okay.
Mechanically, it's a lot of fun because there's you have the things like everything can kill you. You can shoot each other. Your turns can shoot you. Bullets don't just magically go through you. If you reload a clip, that clip's gone. You don't like fire 2 shots and then reload.
Your teammate will kill you because he's a douchebag.
Yeah, Nate will kill you if you're ever on a team.
I was
with him.
talking about you. You dropped You dropped ammo on me.
Watch the video. He refuses to move when I tell him to move. Anyway, the little plug for
He's
our
a
future
traitor.
Let's Plays coming out this week, I think.
I think.
And then and it's a really good game. I really like a lot of the indie titles they've been
Yeah.
coming out with the March Madness. Hotline Miami is on there and a couple other games, but
All right.
that's what I've been playing. So
All right.
cool. Well, till next time, I think that covers it for this week.
Cool.
We are done.
Keep it lazy.
Have a good week, guys.
A goodbye.
We all love you.